All right. So we'll stick with the videos. I think I have two more videos
All right, cool.
here. And there was like one article that's a current event, but we can hold that for another time. This one I really got a kick out of. This is a clip from an HGTV show, which I know you're a big fan of,
Yeah,
Adam.
sure. While you're queuing it up, I'll tell you, my wife loves those shows. And like the last thing I want to watch when I get home from like tearing a house apart or managing a restoration project is watching people restore their houses on TV.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I bet. All right, I've got it queued up here.
Go ahead,
Can you see
man.
it?
I can see it.
What is that, Adam?
Okay. Was that a husband and wife team right there?
I think it is, but I think he's their actual contractor.
I mean, we joke, just taste it and then you'll know if it's more or not. But no, yeah, I mean, put it this way, err on the side of caution. There's a lot there that I could get into. I mean, a ton. Who knows what all the other material that they tore out looked like.
I know.
Didn't seem like they had anything set up in there for removal or air filtration or containment or anything like that. And yeah,
it's the first time I've heard that one though. It's burnt as a description of what it is. I mean, it didn't look like just burnt to me. So the inner mold inspector in me is just cringing, wanting to get in there. First of all, test it, but also, do my deep dive, trying to figure out where it came from, just to prove we can't just assume by looking at it that's not mold, because it certainly did look like it to me.
Here's a point as well. I don't know, I was searching for a word, but even if it was a fire, usually fire damage also ends up being mold damage.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is from an old fire loss and somebody went in there and soaked the walls down, and the fire department or people who are going in to put out a fire aren't really worried about water damage. They're worried about putting the fire out. And sometimes they'll just selectively remove the materials that got burnt and leave the materials that got wet in there, and you end up getting mold because of whatever the fire suppression method was to remove it. And in some cases, you can't. The fire department will come, douse it down, and it could be days without power. It could be days where they're still doing an investigation that nobody can go in the building, and those often turn into big mold jobs, mold issues as well, I should say.
Yeah, just looking at that video, I feel like I could see the little crop circles growing on the drywall there.
Aside from the obvious, where fire doesn't grow in or doesn't usually make these, defined ground growth patterns. So yeah.
And I can't say that's the craziest excuse I've ever heard, but that might be up there with one of the best. It's burnt, but I've heard some really crazy things from contractors and handymen.
Maintenance men, handymen, property managers. Those who have the checkbook in their hands, they get very creative a lot of times with with what it could be other than mold, because they don't want to have to deal with the ramifications a lot of times. But when in doubt, test it.
Yeah,
just test it.
Yeah, and it's probably going to seem like an annoying expense up front, especially if it's not anything. But if it is, we want to figure out, in fact, what type of mold it is. But if so, why did it happen? We don't want that to happen. We don't want to rebuild that entire kitchen and have that happen all over again. So let's do an inspection and figure out if it's something to be concerned about or not.
Yeah, and the best time to do that is before you tear everything out around it, by the way. Because if it is growth, that looked like a whole house renovation, should still have controls in place and equipment in place, because disturbing it is going to kick it up into the air and potentially into the HVAC system, all those things. So usually the best time to test is before you remove. But if you're in the in a renovation process and you happen to find something you weren't ever expecting, try not to disturb it. You know, I know a lot of times it puts a big wrench in the game in regards to time frames and timelines, but err on the side of caution for sure.